This is the third section that they've put this into. Poetry, drama, fiction, and philosophy. Now, some languages, the word for poetry does not fit what you would associate with the prophet of God. Nar is fiction. Poetry would imply in some languages and would mean via the word in some languages that there's something extra, that it's stylized over that there's something in there that doesn't add to the meaning and that sort of thing. But the style. So you can have a very, very stylized piece. That doesn't have any poetry, according to the words in some languages. In fiction, no, the focus is about reality, right? But the Book of Psalms, an anthology of sacred poetry, the Psalms, Talim, are the Jewish hymn book, a tremendous anthology of sacred poetry stretching over 1,000 years. The earliest poems go back to the time of Dawood, 10,065, 1,015 BCE. Well, maybe. I'm not sure if any of the Psalms go back that far, but, in a historical sense, and were possibly the product of his hand. Many were written during the kingdom and the exile. The majority are post-exilic. The collection assumed its present form about 150 BCE. Actually, we found out that the 150 Psalm, it kind of actually goes back older than that, but goes back before Judaism, actually, I think. And they picked 150 to match some of what the ancient Egyptians and some of what the Babylonians would have used as formats, but at least that's what it seems to be. But owing to the inclusion of numerous earlier anthologies in the final compilation, several psalms appear more than once, 14 being the same as 53, a part of 40 being repeated as 70, and parts of parts of 57 and 60 being combined as 108. Many of the poems express a vindictive spirit of personal revenge, which is repellent to the modern reader, but by far the greater number are as enlightened in their ethics as they are lofty in their religious spirit. Certainly no other Western hymn book even distantly approaches the collection of the Psalms in literary value. Now, if I was running a weekly service that was not like the Friday Kutba or something, I would, I'd follow the Shem HaMephorash psalm and a verse thing, perhaps, and maybe throw in something of what they would call the New Testament, depending on my audience or something. But the Book of Psalms, an anthology of sacred poetry. Psalm 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinners. Don't come to God. Oh, I'm a sinner. It's like, no, I've tried to do the best thing, and I've tried to believe the best things. Nar sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of God as noun and verb, and in his law doth he meditate day by night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season, and his leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For God is noun and verb, knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Psalm 2. Why did those who turn their backs rage? Pagan, heathen, Gentile aren't really quite... infidel aren't really quite the appropriate terms for what we find in the Bible in those passages. Although the Bible does use what you would call hate speech. So, why do those who turn their backs rage? And the people imagine a vain thing. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against God as noun and verb, and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. God as noun and verb shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet I have set my king upon the holy hill of Zion. I will decree. God as noun and verb hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day I have begotten thee. Ask me, and I shall give thee those who turn their back for thine inheritance. See, that metaphorical family language. And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed. Ye judges of the earth, serve God as noun and verb with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Psalm 4. Hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? But know that God as noun and verb hath set apart him that is godly for himself. God as noun and verb will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. And remember, we're using a gender-neutral masculine here. We're not calling God a male. Stand in awe, sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness. That's basically what jihad and fisabilillah means. And put your trust in God as noun and verb. There be many that say, Who will show us any good? God as noun and verb. Lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart more than in the time that their kernels and their juices increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for God as noun and verb only maketh me dwell in safety. And we see the word sorcery. One of the meanings of the word sorcery is the ritual drug use. And I'm not promoting wine or anything else as ritual drug use here. But the symbolic flesh and the symbolic blood, right? But Psalm 6, God as noun and verb. Rebuke me not in thine anger, nor chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, God as noun and verb, for I am weak. God as noun and verb, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed, but thou, God as noun and verb, how long? Return, O God as noun and verb, deliver my soul. O save me for thy mercy's sake, for in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? Well, what if you do continue consciousness in the grave? You just don't have the level of you obviously don't have the level of application of when you're operating the body. But I am weary with my groaning. All the night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with tears. Mine eye is consumed because of grief. It waxeth old because of all mine enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity, for God as noun and verb hath heard the voice of my weeping. God as noun and verb hath heard